All right. Shubha, we could not add your and Nazli's discussion on the last PPT we had because it was all muffled and there was a lot of noise. And the audio was not clear. So to put that on YouTube would not have been fair to the audience that we have, you know. So we've had to cut that off. So please excuse us for that. All right, so we're going to start off with College of American Pathologists.
No problem.
Uh, and this is a very intensive sort of accreditation. It teaches you a lot of discipline, and it's interesting. So we said, what is the roadmap? Usually, it's a guide to a motorist showing the way. It is also a plan or a strategy to achieve a goal. So our goal is to get the accreditation of CAP for the lab. In this case, our strategy is to achieve a roadmap to CAP accreditation, and that's the symbol below. And they do this accreditation the world over. Huh? So it's a college. It's called what? The College of American Pathologists, the principal organization of board-certified pathologists that promotes excellence in the practice of pathology and laboratory medicine. It is the world's largest association composed exclusively of pathologists. And the pathologists there are all board certified. So besides the MDs, they have to go in for this very intensive board certification. And America has that not only for doctors, it is for us also. And most of us belong to ASCP, American Society of Clinical Pathologists. All right? So, how does CAP promote excellence? The question is that. CAP is considered the leader in providing quality improvement programs to labs all over the world. There are 6,000 laboratories worldwide that adhere to CAP standards of excellence through accreditation. I would say there are more than 6,000 now, all right? This PPT was made a few years back. And again, you can see the symbol. So what is CAP accreditation? The CAP Laboratory Accreditation Program aims to improve the quality of clinical laboratory services through voluntary participation, professional peer review, education and compliance with established performance records and standards. An accredited laboratory is inspected by a private non-profit accrediting association organization approved by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS USA. Benefits of this sort of accreditation? Many. CAP accreditation helps laboratories meet, if not exceed, federal requirements. They benefit from efficient process that saves time, promotes standardization, and helps ensure quality patient care. CAP has a CMS authority to accredit all clinical laboratories. The Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendment, CLIA, specialties, and subsequent subspecialties, and recognition of the Joint Accreditation of Healthcare Organization, JACO, as an equivalent program in JACO accredited institutions. All right? So, I'm going to read that last bit again. CAP has CMS authority to accredit clinical laboratory improvement amendment specialties and subspecialties, and recognition of the Joint Accreditation of Healthcare Organization, JACO, as an equivalent program in JACO accredited institutions. Last time I told you the different accreditation societies, JACO is one. All right? What does it take to be accredited by CAP? The CAP accreditation standards set the requirements for laboratories on such things such as leadership, that's your director, physical facilities and safety, quality control, and performance improvement and inspection. The inspection program consists of on-site inspection of an external item and interim self-inspection. CAP provides checklists designed to implement the standards. So, it's of course you have a lot of paperwork to fill. You invite them, you tell them, and they will tell you this is what you will need. So, like I said, of course, quality manual, SOPs, everything is there. And remember, one option that we have in NABL, that you can select your scope, and you would like to go for your NABL onto that scope. Here, if you are doing 100 tests, all 100 tests have to be approved. You cannot say I'm leaving this, you only do this. No. If your scope has 100 tests, immunology, biochemistry, blah, 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 all the tests have to be approved. You can't cheat. You have to tell them this is what you want. And they will provide you means to set up the standards for these tests to be checked and accredited. Yeah? So look at what it is made up of. You've got technological improvements, more effective analyte identification, new regulatory requirements, better defined characterization, increasingly well-defined standards. So this is a round circle, and one weaves itself into the other. So what is document control, and why is it important in CAP accreditation? I told you, document control, the documents that they ask you to provide and fulfill are very intensive. Document control refers to a system of processes for controlling the creation, review, approval, distribution, and change control of documents, usually in connection with compliance to quality standards and regulations. The document control refers to a system or process for controlling the creation, review, approval, distribution, version, and change control of documents, usually in connection with compliance to quality standards and regulations. So here you can see what's highlighted below in that little jumble. You've got accountability, you've got quality, academic standards, you've got honesty, and many things interwoven. So when we talk of documents in accreditation, like we do in all different types of the most important documents to study, first will be, you've got the standards, you've got checklists, which in turn will generate the following: quality manual, quality procedure manual, QPM, SOPs, audit documents, internal, external, proficiency testing documents, QC data, to mention a few. Remember, we have been through this in the past few lectures. So you've got the quality manual, which I've also told you, which is your Bible. There is a little difference with 22. Quality procedure manual, standard operating procedures for each discipline, audit documents, internal and external, proficiency testing documents, because that's very important, the EQAS as we call them, and QC data, to mention a few. You remember, every day you have to document your mean SD series. Every day you have to write down your controls and what readings you're getting. So here you have a pyramid. I think, can you enlarge it? Maybe the next one, let's see. Alright, so you've got quality manual, you've got quality system procedures, scope and organization charts, you've got standard operating procedures, forms, formats, working mean, registers, records. So everything has to be kept in place. There's a lot of paper, and there's also a lot of soft copies which you have to maintain. So what does an actual roadmap cover? कहाँ जा रहे हैं, कैसे जा रहे हैं, बता रहे हैं. It has a diagram of place you seek to go. It will show you directions, miles, highways and routes, right? That is what a roadmap does. Of course, now you got your GPS. The roadmap to CAP has these standards and checklists. These are the directions you will need to study to achieve the final goal of accreditation. So here you have a checklist, just like NABL gives you a checklist. You have a checklist here. You've got non-conformances found. You've got observations and how you close these NCs. All right, and everything has to be ticked. So every journey begins with the first step. And that's a very nice saying. You all know that. And we said success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out, right? So you have to get into the cycle of doing the best every day, documenting it, reporting it, if there are outliers, correcting it, and you have to be honest about the whole process, all right? There are 8 steps involved in CAP accreditation for the international labs. So now, what is applicable to us via international labs? 1, enroll in the CAP PT EQUA. They've got their own programs. Enroll in PT external quality for all tests. Perform CAP PT for a minimum of 6 months prior to application. Now this is very important, all right? Application for accreditation has to be given. Request CAP application materials. Complete and submit the form. Prepare for on-site inspection using CAP materials. On-site inspection, what is it? Inspection team leader schedules inspection date. Participate in an on-site inspection. Inspection results. Inspection team leader will submit a report to CAP and provide a copy to the laboratory. The conclusion of the inspection. Review your copy of the reports. This is just incomplete. So you have to first apply to them. You also have to simultaneously start taking part in the external quality assurance programs, all right? And you have to document. It is very similar to what we do in NABL, but there, EQUA, they have a couple of surveys and stuff that they have, and they send you samples every month or whatever is applicable, okay? It is not like BioRad or something that the whole year's samples come to them. Here, once you enroll, they will send you the samples and you have to work on them, okay? Continue. Inspection follow-up. Respond to final deficiencies from an on-site inspection. Submit the responses to CAP within 30 days of the inspection. So, inspection follow-up. Respond to findings, that's your deficiencies, from the on-site inspection. Submit the responses to CAP within 30 days. Evaluation. CAP Commissioner reviews results, provides accreditation expertise, and ensures continuous compliance. Certificate of accreditation. Commissioner awards accreditation and issues certificate of accreditation. Maintain compliance of accreditation standards within a 2-year program. Self-inspection. Receive a review self-inspection materials. Perform the self-inspection at the time of 1-year anniversary. So they also, after you've got your accreditation, at the end of 1 year, they will send you self-inspection material, and you have to take part in that too. What will an Indian lab need as it goes in for CAP accreditation? That's the question we ask. Eligibility. The director is the most important requirement before the lab goes in for CAP accreditation. And my dear friends, I have learned this the very hard way. Laboratory director with an MD, PhD, well versed in CAP requirements is preferred, or you would have to get one. Laboratory technologists that are well qualified, preferred with a minimum of bachelor's degree. They have to be trained in CAP requirements, instrument training, etc., and must be certified for the same. Okay, so minimum standards are a bachelor's degree and training. But your director, the captain of the ship, becomes very, very important. There's a saying, two secrecies of success: to begin and to finish. Work once begun well, hopefully should end well, all right? External quality assurance, proficiency testing. The lab must enroll in CAP PT, ICWA, and must do a minimum of 6 months prior to CAP application process, because this is very, very important. And we've been through it, and I know the mistakes we made. This is necessary for the laboratory to test its quality and ensure that all procedures are available in case of deficiencies. The lab will then become familiar with documentation required, the language, and also give the inspection team sufficient data for on-site inspection. All right? So you must enroll in the quality, the AQUAS programs they have. There are a couple of them. Expensive, but worth it. All right? And you document what you got. Same way, if there are outliers, you will have to correct them. The lab will then become familiar with documentation required, the language, and also give the inspection team sufficient data for on-site inspection. All right? So look at the paper involved, document control. Can you see this? Besides the computer, besides the soft copies, besides the folders. All right? The key components, documents that will be needed for accreditation: quality management program, chemical hygiene plan, document control process, competency assessment programs. And guys, you are familiar now, you are more or less familiar with these terminologies. Test method validation documentation, lab director oversight documentation, lab information systems if applicable. All right? So, quality management program, this has to be set by the committee. Chemical hygiene, equally important. Now this is something more than what we had with NABL. Document control process, competency assessment programs. And you also got to, let's take a look at method comparison, which comes into method validation. So you got for CAP, proficiency testing based on CLIA 88 requirements. Acceptable performance is within pH plus or minus 0.04. That is in case of a blood gas, and so on. Then you got sulfuric acid here. This will go into your process. So colorless to dark brown, oil odorless liquid, corrosive, causes severe burns to eye, skin, respiratory tract, may cause blindness, chronic tooth erosion, GI disturbances, and dermatitis. Reaction with water produces excessive heat. So you know how dangerous sulfuric acid is. Then you got quality control, graphing QC results, which again you're familiar with NABL. Performance daily and periodic analysis of quality control data and charts. Remember, we run the controls every day and we document it. Troubleshooting documents and keeping records for QC errors. Performing routine maintenance of laboratory instruments, because without that you can't go on. You have to have routine maintenance, you have to have AMCs, you have to have calibrations, and all this has to be documented. Additional resources, what do you need? The following documents are available to labs consideration or considering CAP accreditation is necessary. CAP accreditation readiness assessment, CARA, they will send it to you. Audio conference webinars, online inspection training, CAP accreditation checklists, lab accreditation manual, online competency assessment programs, standards for laboratory accreditation. So all this is the minimum requirement for your CAP accreditation. Let's see the pyramid. Excuse me. Documents and record Avyati. So you've got policies, intent, what happens and why. Process, sequence, how it happens. See how systematic it is. Procedures, detailed instruction, how to do it. Job aids, abbreviated instructions, reminder of how to do it. Forms, tool control documentation for recording data. Records, documentation of what was done. These are all different types of documents, and it's like I said, it's a roadmap. It tells you where you're going and how you will go. Costs, it is expensive, it's not a cheap process. Fees are paid annually and are based on the institution's lab sections, list of tests, active menu, organization structure and complexity. How big a lab, how small a lab, and all that comes into play. Estimates will be got from CAP after submitting the above data. On-site inspection will also occur, cost for travel, because you've got the whole team coming, business class, stay number of inspectors and so on. PT, ICVA costs are also separate to be borne by the laboratories. So not only do you pay a minimum fee to get in, they will tell you, once you tell them how big or small your lab is, they will send you a cost estimate. There will be on-site inspections when these inspectors fly in. You have to keep them in 5-star hotels. And of course your proficiency testing, not only Indian, you have to take part in some of their programs like surveys, etc. Okay? Okay? Applications may be completed online through an e-lab solutions. This is their software. Okay, this information will be found at cap.org accreditation. Select the lab solutions on the tab. For online assistant, contact customer care, and we've given you the number, or email accreditation online at CAP, or return the paper application via mail, fax or mail. This must be submitted within 6 months of receipt of by the laboratories. So see, they're telling you exactly how to go about it. You have to follow these steps. Without it, they will not accept you in the program. Document control. What is it and who's in charge? The director. It is the management of all paper electronic documents, including policies, procedures and forms. A written document control system outlines how all documents are initiated or revised, approved, utilized, reviewed, retained or discontinued. Your director has to be the overall boss of that. Every document within the laboratory must be current, have up-to-date review and reflect current practices. Accurate, only authorized revisions are made on the document. Substantial revisions are reviewed and approved before implementation. And revisions are reflected on all copies of the document. Available, readily accessible to all staff utilizers. So if the director is making changes, he will see to it that all these changes are passed on to the staff and the staff knows what sort of changes have taken place. Because when these inspectors come, they ask you. They are very, very smart. And they know their work. Outcome, the laboratory will be benefited by ensuring on any given day that practices match policies and procedures. So if you've mentioned something that this is what you're doing in your manuals and SOPs, they will make sure to see that you are doing it honestly. Promoting the use of only approved policies, procedures and forms. Organizing procedures for ease and accessibility by testing personnel. Tracking the status of approvals and reviews to ensure they occur in a timely manner according to the CAP requirements. So, tracking the status of approvals and reviews to ensure that they occur in a timely manner. Maintaining ongoing compliance with CAP requirements. So, you can't change anything. If you have to inform them. Okay? So you have to have certain symbols on the machines. Caution, this machine has no brain, use your own. They're giving you a hint. And you've got your symbol that this could be radioactive or whatever, all right? Then you have to have a chemical hygiene plan because you've got chemicals. Includes procedures to protect employees from health hazards of chemicals and keep exposures below specified limits. All personnel involved in the laboratory must receive training on the CHP and understand how it applies to the rule. So this is the responsibility of the director. An effective CHP includes laboratory director responsibilities and assignment of a chemical hygiene officer. So you have to appoint one, somebody who's trained. Material safety data sheets, MSDS, on all hazardous chemicals used in the facility. The MSDS must be accessible for review by the laboratory employees during every work shift. A training program on interpreting chemical labels and MSDS and the use of proper protection for chemical handling and disposal. A training program for interpreting chemical labels and MSDS and the use of proper protection for chemical handling of disposal, because some labs carry a lot of toxic stuff and corrosive stuff like acids, etc. Proper labeling of all chemical containers. Informing all laboratory employees of the rights to know the hazards associated with the job. Evaluation of every chemical used in the laboratory for carcinogenic potential, that's important. Reproductive toxicity and acute toxicity, because you've got female employees and they should not be exposed to something like that. Review of all incidents and occurrences in the past year. So if there has been an incident, please document it and what you did to solve the problem, and it should not occur again. Here we go. So advantages, laboratory benefits include increased employee safety awareness, so hood, etc. Reduction in laboratory accidents and improved spill responses. Ongoing compliance with CAP requirements. Safe and efficient organization for chemical storage. So here you have a guy who's completely hooded and his face is also covered, but he can see, and if there is any sort of exposure, he is safe. So your employees, your technologists have to be kept very, very safe. Right? If there is an accident, document it and see there's a doctor around to treat it. Okay? So these are your laboratory information systems. Different departments. In the clinical, you've got anatomic pathology, you've got clinical pathology, specimen tracking and security. So now with the software, and you've got artificial intelligence, it makes it easy. Outreach module, you've got interface engine, you've got document imaging, you've got digital pathology. So these are all the different departments or compartments of a lab today, and there are more now. Again, responsibility is the lab director. Laboratory information system provides a database serving the information needs for the laboratory by linking patient test results to ordering clinician client in addition to the patient's medical record. So LIS provides a database serving the information needs of the laboratory by linking patient test results to the ordering clinician. So there has to be an interface between the three. So advantages, laboratory benefits include accurate and timely transmission of patient data, effective presentation of patient data, retention and retrieval of patient data consisting with regulatory requirements, improved efficiency and productivity in the laboratory, ongoing compliance with CAP requirements. So certain things that they have laid down and we have to follow it to a T. Test method validation, the responsibility is the lab director. The test method validation verifies or establishes test method performance specifications. These include analytical accuracy, precision, sensitivity, interferences, reportable range, and reference intervals, normal range. So all this comes into play. Advantages: the laboratory benefits include organized and clear evidence of method validation, accurate patient test results when the new method is implemented, especially then, ongoing compliance with CAP requirements. Method comparison for CAP: proficiency testing based on CLIA 88 regulations, acceptable performance is within, we've already seen this. In the method comparison, we use forms, fill in test ID samples, use results from different instruments, and directed review of acceptability. We have a single sheet of each section on allowable differences between methods developed by director based on typical variation in patients. See, Keats is one of our books we refer to, or Kaplan, and so on. All right. So Miller's prism, it's like a prism, right, of clinical competence. So you've got performance. Can we get a little performance integrated into practice? You've got what is it? Something learning, sure. Demonstration, interpretation, applications, know-how. You've got fact gathering, knows. So you've got knowledge, skills, and attitudes. It is only in the does triangle that doctors truly perform. A competency assessment program appraises an individual knowledge and mastery of skills needed to properly perform a specific job. Again, the responsibility is the director. The laboratory must have a defined set of skills and knowledgeable specific to job descriptions. So you have to have people like that also who are trained into it. Tools to document and organize assessments. Criteria for acceptable levels of competency. A process for reevaluation if personnel fail to meet competency criteria. So there are certain tests that the techs are also put through, and there's a process of reevaluation. So if you find that somebody is failing, you have to reevaluate the person, train him, and then he goes for the reevaluation again. Okay. So you have a document from CAP. It says competency assessment program, and they tell you how to go about it. Okay. 6 elements involved will be direct observations of test performances, monitoring of test result reporting, how you do it, review of quality control records, proficiency testing, results, and preventive maintenance records. Oh, again, doctor, remember, NABL has it, this has the same. Direct observations of instrument maintenance and function checks, assessment of test performance by external proficiency testing or internal blind testing samples, evaluation of problem solving skills. So the 6 elements involved are direct observation of a test, monitoring of test results, how you see it, how you report it, review of quality control, because without that you can't go ahead, right? Records, proficiency testing results, and preventive maintenance records, direct observation of instrument maintenance and function checks, assessment of test performance by external proficiency testing and internal binding testing samples, evaluation of problem solving skills. So CAP competency assessment program and laboratory accreditation program checklist is there. So it's a direct observation of routine patient test performance, including patient preparation, if applicable, sample handling process and testing. So if there is a patient that has had lipid studies and all, how you prepare it or how you instruct the patient before he comes to you for a test. Monitoring the record and recording and reporting the test results. Review of intermediate test results or worksheets quality control records, proficiency testing results, and preventive maintenance records. You see, all this we have covered a lot in the NABL. Same thing is applicable here, and it has to be documented. Direct observation of performances of instrument maintenance and function checks. It's the same thing, all right? So the system components, the laboratory must have a system ensuring, employees' competency assessments are completed semi-annually for the first year of patient testing and annually thereafter. So you have to give your techs, we have a little data sheet, and we check them on a couple of parameters when they are with us. We give them grades, we give them marks. Competencies are approximately customized. All 6 methods of competency assessment for each test systems are addressed. Employees are documented as component as performed, the list of tests, procedures, or duties on which they are responsible, because this becomes quite important and it has to be done very, very objectively. All right. So the laboratory will benefit by organizing and scheduling staff competencies in a manner that assures annual completion. For employees in the first year of patient testing, competency must be assessed semi-annually. Incorporating the 6 required elements into routine supervisory surveillance conducted through the year, efficiency avoiding duplication of results or efforts. Determining employee performance and document laboratory tests and functions according to established laboratory procedures. Retraining and reassessing should employee performance problems be identified. Assessing all testing personnel. Maintaining ongoing compliance with CAP requirements. So this is like an internal, external test where each employee is graded on the work he or she does and whether she understands what she's doing. And that's about the end. That's the first part of CAP. As you know, since we've done, that's the reason why I took your QC1, QC2 and internal audits. So this becomes really easy. But like I tell you, CAP is a little more intensive. Any questions? Meena? Pariza, doctor? Little different in the NABL, huh?
May I speak?
Yes. Please do.
Redekar had approached us for the CAP accreditation, but many things were not accepted by the management of Rishikendi. I had an intention to go in for it. Many things were not accepted, and since it was my time to exit, actually it's such a nice study. One should know. Means it brings the lab under standardization, quality. I know Ashaved has done this CAP accreditation every time they go in for this CAP, they go in for the NABL. Even Kokilabin has CAP and NABL and NABH. I also actually was wanting to learn, but unfortunately I missed out because my exit was not stopped. So actually I am really fortunate at least that you have taken these points and you have incorporated me to understand this. These are the demand, these are the requirements which you have so nicely put up that actually I am learning, okay? I am learning all this.
You know,
So,
what I've given you is quite superficial. because we underwent a training with Dr. Palia and all at Hinduja, and we started on this, and the Palias were very free, and they didn't mind the cost, because Shubha, it becomes very important. It's very expensive. All their equas, all their external programs like surveys, etc., are very intensive, and they send you samples regularly, and they immediately within the 10-15 days they give you a result. If it's an outlier, you have to correct, and you document and you document and you document. You saw that picture over there, okay? And your director has to be a master.
That
We
is
go,
the
the
only
mistake we made, which I shouldn't say, there were mistakes we made, and that's the reason why we got into it very fast, which we shouldn't have. And we had in the team of 5, we had 2 Indians who were very helpful, and 3 Americans, you know. And it went quite well. They were happy with what we were doing, and they wanted us to do a little more. They gave us NCs. We closed it in 30 days, but there was still some problems. So then I didn't want to pursue it more. We could have, not that we couldn't have, because our staff was very well trained, Because with NABL, that training is like a, what do you call, like a horse in a race, And some things were not up to what we could not do. And then the Palias lost. Unfortunately, they lost interest. So forget it. We had NABL and we were happy with it. But both the Palias were very encouraging, and took a lot of interest and spent a lot of money. And I acknowledge the contribution to learn more. Okay.
But it gives us make us understand lot of discipline, and the rules and regulations are very stringent. I'm very thankful to you that at least you have given me an understanding or a framework of what it is like. What it is like. At least you have done such a great work. I must thank you that you have given us the idea of the I-518.
Shubha, it is, I believe in sharing. I don't believe in keeping things to myself.
Very nice.
So when these, when these girls approached me, so we started right from hematology into biochemistry, into immunology, and we got into this. I've kept this for the last, and with QC1, QC2, and audits, you all got a very good grounding. So this became easier. Let us see part 2 next Thursday.
But I am really thankful to you that you have incorporated me. I was standing in the house like a dumb or a dummy. At least you made me understand what it is like, because you have given us the idea of ISO 15189 2012, 2022. You told us that we take out the printouts and keep, then we will discuss. Really thankful, because all this accreditation part, where the lab gets the licensing, where the patients understand that this is a very good lab, we should go in for the testing here. Actually, my exit was, I think, was very early. I don't know, though I considered Bridge Candy as my second house, but unfortunately, I was not there for all this. So I'm really thankful. I think I should give you lot of compliments that you understood my interest for the subject, and you approached me and you said your comments. No issues. I'm really happy. I should touch your feet actually, because this was not understood by me.
Shubha, you've done such a wonderful job with our students every year, with our special blood gases and blah blah blah, all those funny little biochemistries. I haven't forgotten that. So that day when you and I spoke, I was at Bhartiya Hospital when you called me up. So So I said, come along. Only thing, and like I said, you said you want to bring a colleague. I said I didn't want to bring in anybody right now. We are a small group, we're a dedicated group, and we can continue from there.
So hats off to you. Hats off to you. And I repeat and maintain that I should give lot of compliments, big clap and touch your feet. There is no harm because I was not into this at all. I know during my last days, Relekar had come to us and Shashank Relekar, and he had brought two foreigners who were interested. He said that since you are there, we went to the CEO's office. I still remember we had a photograph, and then finally, I don't know, at the end of the time, everything was disturbed. I don't know because I think they didn't want me there as a PhD. As a PhD, I know there was some foul play which was played. Let me tell you that. So I, at least sitting at home, I should compliment you. I should hats off to you that you took interest really in incorporating me and giving me a knowledge of all these things. Really, thank you. A great thank you to you and a big clap to you. Okay. Otherwise, I would have never understood this accreditation. They kept me, gave me an extension of 2 months. You know why? For the National Accreditation Board of Hospitals, which was due in December 2019. And after that, the CEO writes to me that your work is over here. Your tenure is over. We cannot give you any more extension. I was not for my bread and butter there. I was there for utilizing my knowledge, what I had done during my student days with Dr. Chakravarti as my guide, with Dr. Ashaved as my tutor, my teacher, you as my mentor. So really, thank you very much. At least with this, I am understanding what CAP accreditation is, and a very big thank you to you.
We've only done part 1. You like part 2 also. Acha, Parizad, Meena, can we ask you? Are you following this? Are you understanding this?
Yes, ma'am. It is new. It is new for me. But a lot of information, ma'am. There's lots to
read it again.
Yes,
Parizad?
Yes, ma'am. Same here. Yes, ma'am. But ma'am, lot of thanks to Dr. Shubha. She's giving a lot of information.
Of course.
So, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Like you got her also, like on. So it was my luck. Thank you, ma'am. It was my luck that ma'am got in touch with me and incorporated me. Otherwise, actually, I had some Parkinson's problem, a little bit of psychology problems also, because I was constantly, I used to say Bridge Candy is my second home, but no, my idea was very wrong. It was very wrong. I worked for past 24 years with no effect. I was considered to be useless, to be really frank.
I think the feedback we got on you, doctor, was not that. They respected you a lot. At least the very fact that I came on the scene and my kids were coming to you from Sophia, that made a difference. But
then when they implemented cost upon you, that they should pay 6,000, they should pay 12,000.
Yeah, they did that. They did that.
I didn't like it at all. All the time, because we were considering them to be our kids. We, always you should share knowledge. But when I know I don't want to now expose the names, but Triad, which said that 12,000 has to be levied upon the students.
Yes.
They want to do for
3 months of training.
3 months
of training, 12,000 rupiah. Then okay,
Arey,
okay, to 8,000. My kids,
but
our
when
kids said
they,
sorry.
but when they are under the shelter of their parents, then their parents are paying for them. How can they tell the parents that you have to pay for us 12,000, 6,000, for 1 month training 3,000? I didn't like it at all. No.
No, but you know, Shubha, we had such nice people. We had Dr. Firoza Pandey at Prince Ali Khan, who took them in. Bhatia did a very good job of it, and we were quite comfortable. There we had one more. We had one more place, and they did
Ma'am,
very
I
well.
was at Kambala Hills, Dr.
No, but
Vadera.
this happened, Meena. This happened
But,
in the last 2-3 turns. You guys were much
it
before.
was much before.
Yeah, you
This
understand?
90,
No, no,
90,
like
91.
ma'am says, this happened, and our kids said no, and we sent them, and and I think they even got employed at Prince Ali Khan, and Dr. Firoza Pandey was very happy with them, and I used to go and lecture there very often. I've done a couple of CMEs with them, and that whole team was very dedicated. Whole team was very dedicated.
We used to meet so many times. Then you used to give me chance to deliver lecture at that Santa Cruz. क्या है वो?
Yes. For the management, for diploma in management
On
of
Sunday.
our association of medtechs.
Yes, but then of course you never used to take anything free. You used to pay me. You had incorporated my sister also, and since she is a lawyer, a professor. But then it was a very sad thing on my part to learn that these people started leaving money 12,000, 6,000, 3,000. I don't remember now. But for 6 months, you have to pay 12,000. For 1 month, you have to pay 3,000. Arey, the poor children who are under the pockets, the shelter of their parents' pockets, are they going to go and say that you have to pay so many thousands for learning? No. I also didn't like it, but I had to keep my mouth shut. I had to accept all that. But thank you very much, at least by remaining in under your shelter. Since you incorporated me into this, at least I could get the taste of what CAP is, what NABL accreditation is. I know a new biochemist came in and 2016 and 2017 we got the first certificate of NABH. A celebration was held, but they didn't tell me. Unfortunately, I had booked my appointment for Schengen visa, as I had booked a tour with the Kesari tours for London, Amsterdam, Paris. So I was given a date of Schengen visa there, and the one who just came in November 2016 got the certificate in hand in March 2017. We were walking like donkeys there, and now I realized, at least hats off to you, many thanks to you, that at least you prepared the biryani and you could give me the taste of it. You could give me the taste of it. Otherwise, I was not knowing what are the steps for this CAP accreditation. I was not knowing what are the steps for this NABL accreditation. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. A big thank you.
Okay, can we stop, guys? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Meena, Parida,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Ma'am,
Thank you, Doc.
Very informative, ma'am. Very informative.
No, go through the PPT again.
Yes.
Because then we got part 2, which is equally interesting.
With everything, yeah, a lot.
Very informative. I think you should get a lifetime achievement award. True. You are eligible for a lifetime achievement.
Who's going to give it to me? Who's going to give it to me? Give it to myself.
You are eligible for a lifetime achievement award. Really. I used to meet you in that HPPMC, and the way you used to argue out, Chakravarti used to tell me, you saw Rusbe Modawala, how she argues out, how she puts her statement. You are just an inspiration for me, to be really frank with you.
I
You
remember
are
Dr.
what I
Chakravarti very well. Very, very sweet, thorough gentleman, and always very, was very, very encouraging to me.
Who?
Dr. Chakravarti.
Yeah, very, very. And I couldn't attend his funeral because I had some inspection there in that hospital. So I'm very sorry. I went and met the family later on, but he made me. I cannot forget. He made me.
Okay,
He
Doc.
made.
I think we'll end here. We have many people we have to thank,
Yes,
and
yes,
thank you
ma'am.
guys for your support.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
I'll see you next Thursday with part 2.
Yes,
Hmm?
yes.
But
Thank you.
Elizabeth,